How's it going, everyone? My name is DrapPep. Welcome back to another installment of this series. In a previous video, I talked about how I was in the Boy Scouts of America. I was in the Scouts, and when you're in the Scouts, your den leader, because our pack was new, and so we needed to come up with a name. It was exciting because most scouts, they put you in a team that's already already a den, already a group. And so our den leader was like, okay, well, we need to name this. Okay, so everyone gathered around and come up with a name. Now everyone else was kind of naming things like the Blood Gorge. Another one was uh, the Rusty Knife, or like uh, Iron Dagger. Like they were like violent, just bloodlust. I don't know where these kids were getting it, right? Like I don't know where they were getting that from. Even the den leader was like, "Oh Christ!" And like, but the thing is that everyone had to come up with a name. Everyone. You couldn't just sit back and not name it. I didn't want to name anything. I was just kind of, I wanted my knife. I joined the Scouts because I saw someone at my school had a knife and they had a license to carry one, and I wanted that license because I was like, that is cool. I want one. But I didn't really want to name the den. I didn't want to really name the group. So it came to me and I had to come up with something. I was like, oh, that's okay. I'll just go with whatever everyone else is saying. And the den leader was just like, no, 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 go ahead. Just name something, and we will put in a hat. We're all gonna move it around, and I'm gonna pull a name out, and whatever name it is, that's what our group name will be. We're like, oh, okay. And so the name I came up with was Bat Squadron, and the reason why was because I was in love with Batman. I still am, but back then it was more than it is now. Every Halloween I would dress up as Batman, and I would like outgrow the costume, and whenever my mom would be like, "What kind of a costume you want this year?" Batman. I am Batman. Only one year I was Robin, and I went right back to Batman right afterwards. Um I had a raincoat that was Batman themed. I had a tent that was Batman. It was a Batman tent, okay? I had a bed, and the bed was a Batmobile. One of the coolest beds ever. To this day, I still think the Batmobile bed was the coolest bed ever. I had boots that were Batman themed. I had so many clothes that were all Batman themed. Every single day, I would wear a Batman cape and just run around pretending I was fighting crime. Okay? I even have like a photo of me as a child where I have the cape on me and I'm wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. Such a conflicting of brands, Marvel and DC like that, but I was obsessed with Batman, obsessed. I was also obsessed with Indiana Jones, and I used to have a satchel that I took everywhere with me. You could not get that cape or satchel off of me ever. Those were attached to me. All right, when I went to the park, that cape was coming with me. When I'd go to someone's birthday party, I was gonna wear that cape. I was like Linus, you know what I mean? From the Charlie Brown show, the because I think it's Linus. He was the one with the blanket, and everywhere he went, he had that blanket with him all the time. Yeah, that was me with the Bat cape. Okay, the Batman cape, that thing went with me everywhere. Everywhere I went, I had that cape. To this day, if I had the money, oh, you better believe I would cosplay as Batman. Oh my god, yeah. No, I would definitely invest in a Batman suit. And I'd probably wear that cape everywhere I go. Capes are cool. But so the reason for Squadron was because I was also obsessed with the video game Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the Nintendo 64. And so I was like, okay, well, I like Batman. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So, okay, something with Squadron and something with Batman. So, Bat Squadron? I just threw it out there. Even I heard how bad it sounded. And so uh, everyone was like, "What? Bat Squadron? Oh, that's so lame. Why would you come up with a name like that?" And so he put all the names into the hat, including Bat Squadron. Bat Squadron went in there, mixed it up, pulled it out, and he said, "Oh, so I pulled out Bat Squadron." My mind was blown. I was like, "Nuh-uh, that's what got pulled? You pulled that?" Here's the thing: as an adult, I know for a fact he did not pull that. I know for a fact, in my bones, in my soul, I know he just picked it because all the other names were not friendly. One of them was legitimately the Blood Gorger. No one, yeah, he's not going to pull that out and be like, "Okay, well, I guess we're the Blood Gorgers." It'd be cool if he did. a real lottery there. But, like, Bat Squadron was the most tame name out of all of them. And he was cool. Like, he didn't want to, like, put anyone down. Like, he didn't want to be like, no, that's too violent. No, don't go with that. No. But I know for a fact he rigged that. And I know in my soul he rigged that. But at the time, I was just blown away. I was like, we're Bat Squadron? Which, by the way, when you name your team, you have to find a patch that's closely related to it. So our patch was legitimately a bat, which was the coolest thing ever. Later on, we all end up loving the name. Like, when we were called up, the Bat Squadron, out of all of the names that were existing, I think one of them was called the Tumbleweeds. There's another one that was called the Misty Leaf. The Bat Squadron. Oh, we rolled up there like a squad. We were, oh my god. We became competitive as hell. We had a name, a reputation to uphold. And we were like, yeah. We had like the bat emblem on our shoulders. We were cool, man. I found out a couple years ago that the Bat Squadron is still a thing. And like, I saw them selling like scout stuff outside of the store, and I was like, "Nuh-uh, you're the Bat Squadron?" He's like, "Yeah." So, do you have the bat emblem? And it's the same one. For the love of God, I need to go through my stuff and see if I can find it. I still have all my Boy Scout stuff, except for that uniform. That uniform was atrocious. But I still have a lot of those badges. I would love to see if I could find my Bat Squadron emblem, because it was the first. The first. Vintage. But no, it was they kept it. That was so cool. It blows me away to be a part of like the beginning of something that is still around, and to name it even. Because like I said, it was just everyone else was picking the most violent things, and I was just like, "Oh, Bat Squadron," and I got picked, or I should say, it was forcefully picked. It wasn't really voted on. It wasn't really lotteried. It was just, yeah, we're gonna go with this. But I think about that often, about how that whole thing went down, and like shortly afterwards, we just sort of started talking about Pokemon, because at the time Pokemon was, a big thing. I mean, it was the 90s, and we would all kind of like pull out our cards to show off what we had. Nobody knew how to play, by the way. We just kind of made up our own rules. And the funniest thing is that, like, during the meetings, we would trade Pokemon cards back and forth. And then the den leader would be like, "Okay, everyone gather." And we're like, "Ugh, that's right, we gotta do this, huh?" And what was funny was that most of them were like forced there. Meanwhile, I volunteered. I was on a mission, and I kept it to myself of why I was there, because my mom would never let me have a knife, and I wanted to join because I wanted one. But I still think that even though I was there for a completely different reason, being a part of a group where we were called the Bat Squadron and had like a bat emblem on my shoulder was great. Because, like I said, I was obsessed with Batman. I wore a cape everywhere. Batman costumes, Batman galoshes, Batman raincoat, Batman tent. And now I was part of a Bat team. That was the coolest feeling ever. And I think one of the things that made me want to be a scout even more was that being called the Bat Squadron was by far the coolest thing ever. And even though a lot of my teammates were not into the name, they eventually learned it grew on them. They eventually became very proud of that name. And God, it's not like they had a choice, but it became a prideful thing for us where we would show up to competitions and ready. Oh, we were in the zone. And to this day, it's still kind of an exciting memory of mine to think about that I was a part of something like that. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you everyone for joining.